Hello and welcome to Portsmouth This Week. I'm your host, Conley Zani. This show is under the auspices of Rich Rayner, our Portsmouth Town Administrator. Together, Rich, myself, and the entire Portsmouth This Week team are on a mission to build community. We do that by bringing you accurate and timely information about the issues that impact you. On this show, we introduce you to the leaders in our town, the faces, the characters that make this the magical place that it is to live. I am honored today to actually have our town administrator himself. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Connie. How are you?
I am so thrilled you are here. And this is actually a very special episode because we have just surpassed 300 episodes of Portsmouth This Week. Hence
awesome.
My
Congratulations.
cupcakes and candles, and I wanted to have a little fanfare. I know that this show is really important to you as our administrator. You want to just tell our viewers a little bit about why that is important?
I know most people probably heard this story before, but it is absolutely true. But when I was in line for this job and preparing for the interviews, I found this quite by accident, this show on YouTube, and I watched every single episode that was available. And I don't think that there was a better source material that I could have gone to help me prepare for the kinds of questions. I understood. I felt like I understood the community. I understood who the players were. I understood what issues I would be facing. And I could put names to faces immediately. I mean, what a wealth of information.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. Any episodes stand out for you as like memorable, interesting, funny, like, whoa, that's a challenge? I thought
about that. It's really the first episode. I was scared to death. I got invited to be on.
Oh.
You know, I mean, I barely knew people in town. I had no idea what to expect. But your predecessor, Doug Smith, I think he did a great job. The whole crew went out of their way to make me feel welcome to Portsmouth. And it was really, really, it was really nerve-wracking to be on. And then, of course, I was put at ease. But as you know, I came here from the Netherlands, so I still have very strong ties to people in Europe. And my wife is Danish. We go to Denmark all the time. So all my NATO buddies, all my Navy buddies, and all my Danish family watched this.
I love it.
You know.
That's so awesome. And I'm glad that you felt at ease. I love our crew. I love this show. I feel so blessed to be the host of this show because, kind of like you, I get to meet the most interesting people in our town doing amazing things. And everyone cares so much about the job they are doing. That is so apparent. So I have a little surprise for you. I know you thought it was just the cupcakes, but I've given you a mug in the past that said Portsmouth This Week, but now we're really upping the game. We're upping the swag here at Portsmouth This Week, and I want to give you this beautiful jacket that I had made for you and the whole crew. So everybody, this is going to be a nice fall and spring jacket, and it says Portsmouth This Week. So here's some of our crew right now. So this is yours. So you don't have to put it on because I know you're all mic'd up and everything, but you can see our models here of these great jackets. What do you think, guys?
Beautiful.
Yes? Now I know, right? We all have a lot to celebrate. Yeah, so this is Dave Miller, and Dave, you have been camera, sound for how many years now?
I don't know. I stopped counting.
Over 10.
Over 10
years, and you too. You were one of the first, and you've been here since the beginning. Yeah. So we don't have our whole crew here today. We're down a few, but clearly you make it happen. So thank you, and those look really nice. What do you think?
That's awesome. Thank you very, very much.
Well, these guys tease me and make fun of me for doing this kind of thing, but I just want to up the game on. You need a little swag.
You did.
Right? You know, we're clearly not paid the big bucks here. This is just fun, just volunteer.
You have succeeded.
But
Great
it's
job.
really, really awesome. So much to talk about. Lots going on. I know you've got a brand new hot off the press budget. I really wanted to ask about the electricity program.
Sure.
I know there was a town council meeting on Monday night too that maybe some issues came up that we want to clarify.
Sure.
So why don't we start with electricity?
Sure.
All right. So I know that there is this. Well, let me let you lay out the groundwork for us, and And let's make sure we leave our viewers with understanding what their options are.
Sure. So the bottom line is it's a community aggregation program, and what that means is a number of communities have banded together in a nutshell to create bargaining power with a consultant to contract for electricity rates that are lower than what the last resort rates are from National Grid. So most people just get their bill, they move in, they either rent an apartment, buy a house, whatever. But most people ended up with National Grid because they just, it's...
When you don't make a decision, that's your decision.
So that is your decision. So you are opted in.
Right.
Automatically. It's your last resort electricity. So we've created an option. You will get a reduced electricity rate depending on what option.
Simply by doing nothing.
You don't have to do a thing.
Right.
If you got a card in the mail, you're going to be opted into the program. You'll get a reduced electricity rate, and there's no change to you. All you'll notice is on your bill, your provider of electricity, that name will change. That's all.
Right. And it'll be lower.
You have options, though, so if you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. You can opt out. You can either send in the card saying, I don't want to be part of the program. You can call them. You can go on their website and opt out. You also have another option. If you like the program, and I don't see what there isn't to like about the program, you can opt to have more green energy as part of your bill, so you would be helping to fund more green energy.
I am interested in that. I know I'm going to pay a little bit more for making that choice, but because I'm a believer in that, and I want to try to push that, I can do that. That's a choice.
You can do that, and then the other thing you can do is, I mean, the standard rate includes 5% more for green energy. You can opt to, you know what, I'm really more worried about the cost. You can opt into the lowest basic rate.
So let's talk budget, since we're talking about money. Hot off the press, right?
Sure.
Like maybe right 5 minutes before you came here, you were making a printout for all the council people?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's congratulations first.
Well, it's a lot of work, and there's a lot of people that work on this. I mean, we get tremendous feedback all throughout the year, obviously, and there is an incredible amount of work that goes into preparing the budget. We literally start in August, so the budget goes into effect July 1st. People have their summer, but towards the end of August we have our first capital improvement meeting, and it just goes on from there. We finished it last night, and we posted it to the web at noon today, and it was just distributed by PDF to all the council, all the staff, and hard copies were put into the councilors' mailboxes in Town Hall. So it's out there.
Oh, good. So you can, maybe this weekend, you can go just take a big breath and give yourself 48 hours off of thinking about it.
Anybody who is paying attention to the politics in town, town council meetings, there's a lot of work that's going on. There are a lot of issues that get raised, and it doesn't matter what we say. They're going to be raised anyways. It's been fairly stressful on top of trying to get a budget put together, and there's been tremendous stressors in this budget. State aid has dropped considerably. Cicilline announced that he's vacating his seat, so that's on budget. We had to get that into the budget, to primaries and the special election,
which I think is happening like early September now, officially. Like the date's been chosen.
Yeah, they just put it out yesterday, but I was so wrapped up in this, I heard it from Jackie, but I don't remember what she said, quite frankly. What else? There's a bond payment due. The school bond was passed a while back.
Inflation in general?
So you have $800,000 bond payment. You have, over the last 2.5 years, I mean, inflation has been sky high. Right now, as I published a budget, inflation year over year to the end of February, 6.4%. So that actually climbed. It was 6%. Prior to that, it was 7%. We reached almost 8%.
It's backed off just a little bit.
But not enough to really move the dial. I mean, the contractors, contracts, fuel prices, utility costs, just the cost of paper. I mean, the cost of a box of copier paper has gone up well over the rate of inflation. So we're doing everything we can, and we did everything we can in putting this budget together to address every efficiency that we could find that we were comfortable in taking, and at the same time, the other long pole in the tent is, and I've been preaching this for a while, retention and recruitment. We're having a difficult time.
Yeah.
The employees have fallen behind. You know, we historically, we do offer a good benefit package, and I'll be the first one to champion that. But our pay scale is relatively lower than our sister cities and towns. We kept pace there for a while, but we've been offering 2% raises, negotiated, of course. That doesn't cut it in an era of, you know, a 7% inflation. So if you don't address that, people are going to vote with their feet, and they are. So I tried to squeeze in. Obviously, we've negotiated with, and there's some things that are still ongoing. We're negotiating with one union in particular right now. We're trying to address their concerns with regard to pay and benefits, and then for those employees who don't have union representation, trying to do what we can to help them as well. And I hope that the council understands that we're trying to do the best for the most amount of people that we can.
Yeah.
And at the same time address some real issues that we have and continue to have in Portsmouth. For many, many years, we did not address adequately our capital needs. You know, so we do need to address building maintenance, road maintenance, replacement of aging material, and preventative maintenance. These are things that just don't go away. Right. And they're getting more and more expensive. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I got some bottom line numbers. You know, where we came at, because I'm sure everybody's who's interested is on the website right now. But bottom line is, so we were 6.4% inflation. Okay. However, the general fund, i.e. the increase in the budget, is 1.92%.
So below the 2% threshold,
below,
we have to
we
meet.
try to keep it below 2%.
Yeah.
But that's driven by another number of factors. The property tax rate, which of course everybody's going to be interested in, came in at 12.865, so $12.865 per $1,000 in assessed value. That, as opposed to last year, which was $15.651.
So question, is it fair right now to talk about the assessment, or do you want to wait till after you get through the budget? I don't want to mess up your
I've only got another comment, and then, let's dive right into that. So, you know, the tax rate has come down by over, you know, $2.78. So that's almost an 18% decrease in the tax rate. So let's go to the assessed value. Why were we able to do that? Well, we can do that because the net assessed value of all the property in town went up. You would have to have been a complete hermit not to see that home prices and sale prices and everything in general has been climbing. So the value of stuff has increased considerably. Right. When that happens, you know, if you kept the tax rate the same, you would be bringing in more money in tax revenue than is allowed by law. You can only increase the levy, the amount of money that we're taxing, by no more than 4% year over year.
Okay, so the rate has to come down.
So the rate, it's a zero-sum game, so the rate has to come down, and of course the rate has come down. Now there are going to be people whose home values, I'll pick my neighborhood. I'm not going to point fingers at anybody else in town. The value of my home has gone up considerably. So I will pay more in taxes next year. There are people whose values went up but didn't go up as much as others. They'll see either a marginal tax increase or a tax decrease. And then there's other people, the values of their homes either didn't go up or may even have gone down. They'll get a significant tax cut. It's just the way it works. We get 85% of our revenue on property taxes. So that's just the nature of where we're at. Now, to put that in perspective, though, compared to other cities and towns in Rhode Island, we consistently, every year, all cities and towns, we're usually in the bottom quarter as far as our tax rate goes. As far as other towns with like services, professional police department, professional fire department, our own school district. Now, I might have it reversed, bottom third or bottom quarter, but it's always near the bottom. So we're always below that bottom third, usually in the bottom quarter.
Which is impressive given the level of service we have.
We have a very dedicated workforce, and it goes right back to what I'm trying to do, mitigate in this and help in this budget. We have an extremely dedicated workforce. They take slings and arrows all the time, and it's kind of a joke in a sense, not in a nefarious way. Most people who walk in a town hall aren't walking in a town hall because they want to smile. They walk in a town hall because they got to pay something, or they got to address something, or they need something, and they're generally not in a good mood. These people have to deal with this. You're calling the police not because you want to offer them a cupcake. You're calling the police because you got an issue. You're calling the fire because there's a medical or a property damage issue. So it takes a certain persona to want to get up and do this every single day. And I do feel to the core of my being, we have 17,800 people living in this community, and I would say that about 17,790 really truly do appreciate what we're trying to do. There's a segment of people that you are just never going to satisfy. And you just have to address their concerns, never let it get to you, always treat them with respect, but still keep doing your job. And we are extremely lucky in Portsmouth to have the people that we have. We've been trying to build a very positive, ethical, and content and happy workforce, and we do that every day. I got great department heads. We have great men and women working for the town, and I can't say enough about them.
Yeah, and clearly they're driven by more than that money piece. It's something. It's service.
It's service, but the money does. You know, when you're looking at high inflation, and they're looking at how on earth am I going to afford an apartment on Aquidneck Island? It's tough. So
that's one of your biggest challenges.
Address it. It just has to be addressed. When other communities and towns are offering, there's one community that just came in at 4.75% pay increase. We can't offer that. So we try to make up for it in, quality of work and the recruitment of really good managers and leaders, and also doing everything we can to give them a better work environment. A brand new police station. We're getting a new roof on Town Hall, addressing air concerns, air quality concerns, allowing people particularly during COVID, for those of you that are doing just office work, let's talk about work from home conditions. Making sure people have brand new IT equipment, hiring an IT manager to address their concerns. We're stringing new fiber to the police fire or the fire in the DPW station, getting them their new vehicles. When I got here, I've told this story before, but 3 days after I got here, Chief Lee came into my office and told me that an officer got in their car for their morning shift that morning and his foot went right through the floorboard. Right? That doesn't happen anymore. We've set up a capital improvement, a public safety capital improvement program. So we're addressing our aging fire fleet, and in that we get 2 brand new police cars every year, and then we try to add 1 into the budget, so that's 3 new police cars.
I don't know if I told you, I'm doing the Citizens Police Academy.
How do you like it?
Oh my gosh, I'm in love with it. It is so much fun. I hope everybody out there does it. So I got to sit in one of those new police cars. It's fabulous, and it's so eye-opening. To your point about the people, our service people in the fire and police, like, they are such pros, and that gives you such insight into the level, the standards, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, really, really professional workforce. I mean, under Tom Lee and Chief Peters, they achieved and they're maintaining accreditation levels that we never had before.
That's really exciting.
You know, under
That's
Chief
part of their
Ford,
strategic plan.
you know, he was able to secure a grant that got us to increase our fire department by 8 personnel.
Now that's one of our challenges this year, is that grant is going away,
right? The grant expires in March.
But they're not going anywhere. We're going to keep them in the budget, but it's a challenge.
Keep them. It's a challenge, but to their credit, they've tightened their belt. Everybody's budgets, with the exception of a few, but the smaller departments, you know, it looks lopsided. So when you see a small department, oh my goodness, the budget went up 16%. You're talking about something that hardly even touches the overall budget. When you talk about the budget, you really got to focus on those big ones, you know, fire, police, DPW. Those budgets all stayed, if I recall correctly, under 2% increase. So we are doing what we can to leverage efficiency, leverage our personnel, give them the equipment that they need to do the job, and not have to keep repeating and going back and doing corrective maintenance or corrective
like reactive.
work.
You're being proactive.
So that we can keep moving forward. You know, we have a new police station. There's a renovation going on right now where the fire has done a lot of the work themselves in the fire department. You know, all the things that we've done in town over the last, you know, 300 shows, you know. You know, it's really a success story.
It's a wild success story.
Sure.
All right, so we've got some revenue challenges, but we're tightening our belt. That's part of how we're dealing. And also, when you think about our revenue, it's interesting, too. Homes were selling fast, and now that's slowed down, but now there's a...
Sure. Yeah, so, you know, no doubt about it. We certainly overestimated the amount of real estate transaction fee revenue we would get this year.
Because it was so high the year before.
So while, you know, the home values have stayed high, in an effort to fight inflation, the Fed has increased interest rates almost monthly, it seems. But that has cooled down the housing market. So many homeowners who were probably going to try to cash out the value in their homes, they cannot entice or attract the buyers right now because it's tough to get into this market. So they are using their resources to refurbish and renovate their homes. So we've seen a dip in real estate revenue, transaction revenue, but we've seen a huge increase in building permits. So
so Gareth Eames' office and Matt Kent, they are going like gangbusters.
You know, Gareth pleaded with me he wants to hire another clerk. All right, we're going to have to wait because this will cool off too. So while I would have loved to, not in the budget this time around, but we did get him an absolute rock star planner, and you know, replaced Gary, who is also equally as good. But Leah has just taken the bull. She's by the horns.
We just had Leah and Aaron on the show.
Fantastic. I hope you were pleased with them. I couldn't be more pleased.
They've been working as a team for a long time, and I think came from East Greenwich, and that shows. And they were sort of seamless in their approach to things, and I think had things divided and conquered appropriately, and really gave us an overview of how it works. And when we come into the town hall to get questions answered, who we need to talk to, and it's really inspiring. So really good. I mean, but there's challenges always that we have to address. You brought up Monday night. Let's just hit that nail on the head. There has been a concern by certain citizens in town that either the pension was overtly or inadvertently massaged. You know, I just, for the record, I'll just state categorically that that's not true. It doesn't diminish their concerns. We listen, and we listen intently, but there has been no manipulation of the pension without council direction, and that's even a misnomer. There's been no manipulation of the pension. Have there been some changes to the pension?
Absolutely. And that's all in open session. And it, quite frankly, on the fire contracts, there are 2 fire contracts that changed their escalators. Absolutely, done by the, in negotiation, approved by the council. I believe both of those contracts were approved unanimously. Were there people entered into the pension after it was closed July 1st, 2012? Yes, because there was an area of the pension that did not get addressed correctly, or whether it was overt or inadvertent, I don't know. It was written before I got here, and then it had to be restated, and when it was restated in 2016, it was written that way. So yes, there were, they say 3, I can only see 2. I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, but bottom line is, there is a school employee who is still with us who was added to the pension well after the council's intent was to close it. But there were also other things going on too. The previous administration did implement changes to people's pensions that was not voted on or directed by the council. And had that been done to an entire class of employee fairly, it probably never would have been an issue, but it wasn't. There were people that were identified, and there were people that were not. There were people that got to retain a defined benefit. There were people that could not. The logic escapes me, and why that was done without council direction is beyond me. But so bottom line,
there's a lot of unwinding and straightening out right now.
And it's all been done. It's all been corrected. However, there were a number of issues when this all came to light that had to be addressed with the council, with solicitors, with legal advice, and we had to take action to reduce liability to the town. And that's what I get paid to do. And I don't get paid to manipulate the pension. I don't get paid to make those decisions. I can't, even if I wanted to. There's a report that comes out every year, and there's an analysis of our pension and our OPEB, and there are required legal documents that have to be filed, a GASB report. It's all there.
It's all there.
So while it's disappointing, I do understand their concerns. Nobody likes having an unfunded liability out there, whether it's in your home or at the municipal level. But there is an unfunded pension liability that is being addressed and will be paid off by 2041. But it all stems to promises that were made to employees for many years.
Right.
You don't make a promise to an employee and say that you work for me, you give me 20 or 30 years of your life, and I'll think about paying you a pension at the end. No, damn it, we promised.
Yeah.
And we fulfill that promise, and that's not the kind of action I would ever want to be a part of. I want to be part of a community that honors its commitment to its citizens and its employees. Full stop.
Full stop. Well said. I am so glad you've been on this show and kind of got to explain some things to us and talk about this amazing budget and have a cupcake. I hope you wear your jacket with pride around town.
I will. Thank you so much.
Need a little swag. Yeah. Thank you for being on this. We'll see you next month, no doubt, okay?
Right.
This has been Conley Zani with Portsmouth This Week and my guest, Rich Rayner. We'll see you next time.